Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Endless TBR. My name is Christian, and this is my YouTube channel where I love to talk about books. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to click on this video, where I have a book haul video for you of some book pickups that I've grabbed in the last couple weeks here. This is actually my first book haul type video for this channel. I've never just done a straight up book haul video, mostly because on a monthly basis, I usually buy like 3 to 5 different books. I try not to overbuy too much because I have this code where I try to read more on a monthly basis than I buy because I'm slowly running out of space in my room and my bookshelves are getting more and more packed. So I'm trying to control the chaos a little bit. But this month was a little bit different. I had 3 different occasions where I got some books. The first occasion was my usual monthly trip to my local Books a Million, where I pick up some stuff in the discount section. And then a couple weeks ago, it was my birthday, and I got gifted 3 books by some friends of mine. So that was super nice of them. And then lastly, a couple days ago, me and my fiance and her mom took like an hour drive up to this used bookstore in North Orlando, and we picked up a bunch of books. It was like a 2 hour drive, so I wanted to make it worthwhile, and I grabbed as many books as I could. And so I have over 15 books here that I wanted to share with you, and thought it would be kind of fun to make this video. So let's get into it. We'll talk about the books that I got at Books a Million first. I found this awesome Stephen King short fiction collection with 4 novellas in it in the discount section. And it worked out really well because the one book that I was there trying to find was this one here, The Mist. This was the next book that I had to read in chronological publication order for Stephen King, and it was part of this collection. So I got this one here, which I already read, and then there were also 3 other novellas that I actually have to read pretty soon. They're not that far ahead in the publication order. So we have Apt Pupil, and then The Body, and then Sundog right there. So really excited to add those to my Stephen King collection. I have a horror shelf above me behind me, which is slowly turning into just a Stephen King shelf because I keep adding it to the Stephen King collection every month. So it's great to find that and at a great deal as well. And then I also found this book. It is Star Wars Padawan by Kirsten White. This is actually one of the next books I have to read. I'm reading all of Star Wars new canon in chronological order. I finished The High Republic back in December and wanted to take a little bit of a break because there was a lot of books as part of that series. Technically, the next 2 books that I have to read are the 2 Acolyte tie-in series books, but I haven't heard great things about them, so I might just skip ahead and read this one now that I own it. But it is a YA book about Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I'm really excited to get back into reading some Star Wars. I know I have a huge journey ahead of me to finish all the new canon books, especially because it seems like every year they're coming out with like another dozen books or so, and so I'm slowly following behind and kind of have to get back on it. But that is the Padawan right there. I got at a great price. And then I got gifted 3 books by some friends of mine for my birthday. The first one is My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. I think my friends know that Grady Hendrix is a author that I was trying to break into this year. I actually just got the notification 2 days ago that the Witchcraft for Wayward Girls audiobook on Libby is available for me. So I will be experiencing 2 different Grady Hendrix books here in the coming months. So that is really exciting. And then I also got this book by Dan Simmons. It is Children of the Night. This is a book I had not heard of before, but my friends know that I really, really enjoyed The Terror, which I read not too long ago. It's one of my favorite books of all time, and I was just super hyped on that book. So they got me this Dan Simmons book, and it sounds really, really cool. I'm going to read the back of it. In a desolate orphanage in post communist Romania, a desperately ill infant is given the wrong blood transfusion and flourishes rather than dies. For immunologist Kate Newman, the infant's immune system may hold the key to curing cancer and AIDS. Kate adopts the baby and takes him home to the States, but baby Joshua holds a link to an ancient clan and their legendary leader, Vlad Tepes, the original Dracula, whose agents kidnap the child. Against impossible odds and vicious enemies, both human and vampire, Kate and her ally, Father Mike O'Rourke, steal into Romania to get her baby back. So that sounds really awesome, and I'm super stoked to get into this one. So thank you to my friends for getting me that. And then finally, this one actually came at a really great time. It was really funny. They gifted me The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. So if you'd watched my March TBR video, I was going to listen to the audiobook version of this in March, but it turns out I had accidentally picked up the text version on Libby instead of the audiobook. And I really didn't want to read the text version that month because I had so many different books that I had already planned on reading. So I returned the text version and I put a hold on the audiobook version, but it was going to take like 2 months. And then a week later, my friends bought me this. So I was like, this is perfect. I canceled the audiobook hold on Libby, and now I'm going to read it as a physical book. So really excited to get into this one too. Hopefully within the next month or so, I'll be reading The Only Good Indians. So now we have a nice little stack. These now are all going to be the books that I picked up at that local bookstore about an hour from my place. It was awesome. It was so cool being in there. I will have to take like the photos and videos next time I go there to share on the channel. But the first book that I picked up had me really excited. This was the main book. I was like going there. I was like, I want to find this book specifically, and that is Stephen King's Dance Macabre. This is the next book that I have to read in publication order by him. They did not have this book at my local Books a Million. They have like every single Stephen King book there except for this one. So I was really excited when I found it in that used bookstore. This is a nonfiction by him, kind of on the state of horror and literature and movies and TV back when it was published in the end of the 1970s. So super stoked to read this one, and I was really glad that I found it. And then these next two books, these are ones that my fiance actually got, but I'm very interested in reading them. And they are Choke by Chuck Palahniuk. And then also, same author, but it is called An Oral Biography of Buster Casey. So these are both by Chuck Palahniuk right here. We actually have another Chuck Palahniuk book right behind me. It's this one. It's called Invisible Monsters. It's one of my fiance's favorite books. She rants about this one all the time. So I'll probably have to read all three of these soon. um, I don't know much about his writing, but I know that he did Fight Club. And when I asked my fiance what his genre was, she just said he writes really weird stuff. So I'm excited to get into these. Based off the description for Choke here, that sounds about accurate. I'll read this one for you. Um, Victor Mancini, a medical school dropout, is an anti-hero for our deranged times. Needing to pay elder care for his mother, Victor has devised an ingenious scam. He pretends to choke on pieces of food while dining in upscale restaurants. Then he allows himself to be saved by fellow patrons who, feeling responsible for Victor's life, go on to send checks to support him. What when he's not pulling this stunt, Victor cruises sexual addiction recovery workshops for action, visits his addled mom, and spends his days working at a colonial theme park. So that sounds really weird and really cool. So I'm excited to read all of these Chuck Palahniuk books. And yeah, so good pickups from my fiance's part. And then the next two books that I got were by Dean Koontz. I recently finished Watchers and I really, really liked it. So going to this bookstore, I was like, I'm going to try to scope out a couple Dean Koontz books. The main one that I was looking for was this here, Intensity, and I found it. So that made me really excited. I'll be reading this one soon for sure. And then I kind of went on Google and was searching around like what are some really good books by him. And consistently at the top of a lot of people's lists were this one here, Odd Thomas. So I decided to pick this one up as well. Really excited for this. They had literally every single Dean Koontz there, I'm pretty sure. It was a stack from the floor up to like the top of my head of all his different books. So if I enjoy both of these, I have a really consistent place that I can go to grab some more of his books. So this made me really happy to grab Odd Thomas and Intensity. Then the next book that I got is this one right here called Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. It was funny. I saw my fiance's mom walking around with a copy of this, and I was like, "Ooh, I want that one too." Did they have another copy? And they did. So we took both of the copies that they had there at the bookstore. The reason that I know about this book is there's a booktuber that I really love. His book channel is called Books Are Sick, and the guy's name is Nick. And I remember that he talked about this book and absolutely loved it. And it was one of those books where I was like, "That sounds interesting. If I ever see it out in the wild, I'll pick it up." And so when I saw it in my mother-in-law's hands, I was like, "I want a copy of that too." And I ended up grabbing it. So really excited for that one. And then the last book I picked up, this was kind of a silly purchase, but it was so cheap that I didn't want to pass up on it. I have this obsession where on my bookshelf, I don't mind if I have like some trade paperbacks, mass market paperbacks, hardcovers. It's all over the place. But if it's in the same series, I try to keep it consistent. And so my Robert Langdon books by Dan Brown, I have all of them in hardcover except for Angels and Demons, which I have a mass market paperback version of. And it's always bothered me. And then I saw Angels and Demons in hardcover there for just a couple bucks. And I was like, I'm going to buy that. And then I'm going to donate my mass market paperback version of it. So I picked this up, and now all of my Dan Brown books, my Robert Langdon books can match on the shelf, and it just makes me really happy. I actually just read this one back in January, so I'm probably not going to read it again for a very long time, but at least now I have the aesthetic pleasure of looking at my bookshelf. So that is Angels and Demons right there. And yeah, that is all my book pickups. So I'm really stoked about all these books. I'm going to try to get around to reading most of them pretty soon here within the next couple months. And let me know if you have any of these books, if you've read any of them, what your thoughts are on some of these books. And stay tuned for more videos. Thank you so much for checking this one out. My name is Christian. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Peace out.